Okay, what's good, gang? I hope you're having a good day. Today I got a really great video for you, and if you're new to the channel, I started this because I wanted to share basically everything that I've been doing in my life, from my philosophy to the things I'm actually doing, the way that I'm moving in life, and kind of this mindset and identity that I've built over the last few months that have really helped me do really just achieve the goals that I've had and create some real amazing change in my life. And honestly, this shit works so well. It is so good. And I have been watching these videos about manifestation, about spirituality, about the truth of the world is what is really going on here for like the last 3 or 4 years now. And all of it has started to really make sense to me in the last few months. And it has started to really work and show up in my life. And dude, it is so amazing. It is so good that I sit there and these thoughts just go through my head all day, and I'm like, I need to put this out there. I need to be able to share this with somebody who or share this with people, whoever want to hear these things and whoever wants to make real change in their life. Because dude, that was me. I was watching these videos on YouTube, on everywhere, and reading books, taking in all the information, trying to make sense of this all, and trying to bring the life that I wanted into reality. And I've gotten to the point where I know enough that I know that I don't know anything, but I do know the things that I've done and how they've worked in my life, and I believe they're universal principles that really work for anybody as long as you want them to, as long as you put in the work and follow these things and become that person that you want to be. So I've been writing down my ideas, just like bullet points, because whenever I put on the camera, sometimes I forget what I'm going to talk about and I start rambling really randomly. So I'm just going to make a bunch of videos talking about these things. So if you want to sit down, no fancy editing, just me talking to the camera. This is for you. And I think, like I said, if you apply these things, dude, you can create whatever the fuck you want with your life, because life is a game, and once you learn how to play it, you realize you can truly fucking do anything, right? Okay, cool. So the things that I want to talk about today are your identity, testing different things, and then actually doing the work. Here are three things that I started doing. And once I started doing these the right way and I really started putting in the work, I saw some real fucking amazing change in my life. And I'm going to share some stories about myself and how you can apply these ideas and principles in your own way to create the reality and create the change that you want to make out of this world, in your time here. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. Okay? And yeah, let's fucking do it. Okay, so the first thing is your identity and who you want to be. So if you're watching this, you probably have some kind of big goal in your mind of something that you want to achieve in your life, whether it be a certain amount of money, getting a certain relationship, achieving some certain goal, whatever it might be. Everybody has different goals. For me, it was always, when I started doing all of this, like 3 or 4 years ago, I wanted to have a successful business. I wanted to be able to travel when I wanted to, and I want to have a little bit of financial freedom to do what I want with my life. And it wasn't until the other day, I was sitting there at night, I was looking back at the last few years of my life and seeing what I've achieved and realized, dude, I am just about there. I'm at a point where I'm making good money with my business. I'm starting to travel now, go to some really cool fucking places, and it all happened. Literally, these things kind of happen out of nowhere, to the point when you finally get to your goal, you don't even realize it's happened. But I think the first thing I'm talking about is your identity and who you want to be. So I think this is really important to get a good, clear idea of the person you want to become, of the ideas that you want to have, and a real good, strong, solid idea of who you want to be and where you want to be, to the point where you can close your eyes and you can imagine the bank account number, however much money you want to have, or imagine yourself being with that dream partner, or having that dream house, or finally having a good relationship with your family. You want to be able to get to the point where this idea of who you want to be is so clear that you can close your eyes and you can see it. Because here's some crazy fucking game, dude. If you can imagine a version of yourself, no matter how fucking crazy it may seem to you right now, if you can truly, even for a second, get a feeling of what that person feels like, what that future version of yourself feels like, then it is already out there. You just have to go and get it. And I think I'll have to go into this in like another video, but the way that I like to look at the world, and I learned this little concept from Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zelam, and whether this is the truth or not, I don't really think it matters, because if you think about life this way, it makes it a little bit easier, and it makes it more fun, and it turns it into more of a game. So the way that I like to think about life is, imagine a bunch of different film roles, like movies, like film roles, and as your life goes on, this is your film roll going through the things that happen to you every single moment that goes by. And as that film roll is going on, in the same moment, there are an infinite amount of other film rolls where everything is possible, and any idea of what could possibly be in your life is already existing somewhere else on another film roll. And like I said, if you can have the idea of who you want to be and where you want to go and your goals and your dreams in life, that version of you already exists on a film roll somewhere else, just not here right now. And when it comes to manifestation and bringing this life into into real life, into fruition, it is a game of moving over film roll by film roll until you can finally get to the one that you wanted. So at the beginning of my journey, I was here, and the film roll I wanted was probably out of frame, so far away. And slowly over time, learning the things I needed to learn, doing the things I needed to do, I slowly got closer and closer and closer until finally I was there. And a big part of that is your identity and who you are, right? And the story that you tell yourself on a daily basis. So I think that's a big thing, and you hear this a lot in different books and things about spirituality. Everybody says the same thing in different ways. This is a common theme I think you'll learn time and time again in this journey, is everybody's kind of, a lot of the time, they're saying the same thing in different ways. So what I'm talking about with identity, the way that like Neville Goddard, for example, talks about it, is the feeling. The feeling is the secret, because if you have a feeling of who you are, that is also, you know, your identity, the person that you are. And like the film roll thing, what Joe Dispenza talks about, if you can feel the emotion to an event prior to having that event, you are slowly changing the identity of who you are as a person to be able to have that feeling of something before it's actually there. And ready for this? That is the trick of the game. Being able to feel an emotion and being able to feel the feeling of your future event before it happens. And being able to stay in that until you can close the gap and you can get closer to that film roll that is yours and the person that you want to be. And dude, I will tell you, this took me forever to finally realize this. And if I were to put like all of the spirituality stuff, there's so many ideas and components and things that can really trip you up along the journey and almost kind of distract you, because dude, all of this is very simple. It is a very simple thing, and if I were to put it into one thing, or one thing that you should really think about, is your identity and who you actually and who you're being, right? So let's get into that. Okay, so I'm going to tell a little bit of my own story and who I was at the beginning of my journey and who I had to become in my identity and how I managed to change that to bring that thing into my real life. So at the beginning of my journey, I had the idea, I had the goal, and it felt so far away. For the longest time, over the last like 3 or 4 years, dude, I was fighting like an uphill battle because I always put that future version of myself in the future. Like not here and now, but somewhere else in the future. And I always said to myself, if I do the work, I'm going to get a little bit closer, and then I'm going to finally get that thing. And yes, that is true, but if you want to speed that up and make it a lot faster, become the motherfucker that you want to be before that thing actually happens, and change your identity to act like the person who already has that thing. And again, the feeling is the secret. It's almost like tricking reality into thinking that you already have the thing before you actually have it. And another big thing that you're going to hear, and I think about every single day, is your inner world reflects your outer world, and this is like 100% true. So that's why I say it's very important to create the identity of the person that you want to become, and being able to slowly change yourself, the present moment version of yourself, you right now who doesn't have that thing, slowly being able to change your habits, the way you move in the world, the way you react to things, to that future version of yourself, and asking yourself, how would that person react, how would that person move in the world? Because if your inner world reflects your outer world, if you are constantly being the same person who's here, who's you right now, who doesn't have the things, if you are constantly moving in the world from a place where your inner world is still that person, your outer world is never going to reflect that that change, right? The world is as you are. So here's what I want you to do in terms of identity and being able to get a clear picture of who that future version of yourself is. What I like to do and what I like to think about, so here's me now, who doesn't have the things, who is just starting out, who is going on that journey, and then here's a future version of myself. I sit there and ask myself, how do I show up in my day-to-day life now? I think about the things that I'm doing with my business, with my relationship, how I react to things, how I show up in my day-to-day life, and And really, like, who is this person? Who is this person now? And then who is that future person? And how are they going to be different? How are they going to act different from one another? And in every little last detail of my life. So a big thing for me was like always reacting to things. So a big goal of mine, like I said, was to make enough money to get to the point where I have that financial freedom. And for the longest time, dude, I would show up and I would react to things. I would react to the outer world from that person who doesn't have that successful business yet. And one day, dude, I just woke up from this fucking dream and I was like, why? There is no past, there is no future. Why would I sit there and try to wait for a future version of myself when there is only the present moment? And I made a fucking decision to be the motherfucker who already had everything that I wanted. And then from there, dude, like I said, I just sat there and thought, okay, how would the $100,000 version of myself show up in my day-to-day life, in my business, my relationship, my family, all these different things? How would I show up? And then I asked myself that, and I really thought about it for like literally okay. And then this version of myself slowly started to die and disappear. And I would slowly over time start to show up as a successful version of myself, whether the outer world reflected that or not. I would train myself and train my inner world to the point where I would trick my mind into thinking I already had everything that I could ever wanted. And when the thing showed up, when reality tested me, I reacted from the version of my $100,000 self. So for example, some days in business are bad. Some days you have shitty days because that's life, right? But the thing is, I used to react to those things. Some days I would lose money in my business. The old version of myself would start to stress, would start to spiral, would say, oh, what am I doing? What are all these things that are going? Oh no, this is a bad day. What? When the $100,000 successful version of myself would go, hey dude, look at all the money you already have, dude. Look at all the success you've already had. Remember all the times you bounced back from these bad days? And I didn't react. And then even when I was in that, place of not having money or not having that thing, I would react as if I did have that thing. And I would trick my brain, I would reflect, I would change my inner world, no matter what the outer world would say. And then I did that in everything, in every facet of my life. And I became, and so I'll get into that a little bit later. But dude, this doesn't just change your goals in your life, dude. This changes fucking everything. This changes who you are as a person. This is like really powerful, amazing stuff here. And I think everybody needs to know it. This is fucking amazing, okay? But dude, okay, so there it was. One day I sat there and I decided I'm going to be the motherfucker who already has it. I'm going to show up like the motherfucker who already has it, and I'm going to do that day in and day out until I have that thing. Okay? Cool. And guess what happened? It was only a matter of time, dude, where the movie reels, the fucking film reels, without even me realizing it, without even me thinking about it, because I was already him. In here, in my inner world, I was already the motherfucker who had it. Slowly and slowly, those two fucking worlds collided, or didn't even collide. The fucking version of myself who had it all came into fruition in ways where you don't even notice it, where it just kind of comes up out of nowhere, where one day you sit there and you realize, oh my God, I did it. I fucking did it, right? This is victory, right? Here, it's possible. And you finally have that moment, no matter how long it may take. If you can sit there in the identity of the motherfucker who already has it, whatever the goal is for you, it is only a matter of time before reality catches up, because like I said, the world is as you are. The universe doesn't have any judgments. The universe doesn't care about really anything. The universe cares about how you're feeling, right? And who you are and what's your inner world, what's going on in your inner world, right? So that's why I think this is another quick thing that I find really interesting with the whole like space of spirituality and manifestation. It makes a lot of sense why people and myself get really tripped up, and it really takes a long time to finally have that thing that clicks. Because when you go on this journey, you hear all these different methods and all these different techniques of what works and what doesn't work and how it should be. And you sit there and you try one, you go for, oh, I don't know if this is gonna work, oh shit. And guess what, dude? Your inner world reflects your outer world. The moment you sit there and go, okay, this is working, this is good, you get a taste of what's good, of what's working. And the moment you sit there and doubt yourself, the world goes, okay, we're doubting ourselves, I'm gonna give you more reasons to doubt yourself. Cool. Oh, you're feeling shitty? I'm gonna give you more reasons to feel shitty. Oh, you believe in yourself? It's going good? Here are some more reasons to believe in yourself. That's why for me, for a really long time, I always felt like the world was like my life was like a roller coaster that had to go down after the ups, and it had to go up to down and up to down. And I always felt like that for a really long time. But looking back, I can realize any single time I went down or I went up, it was always, always, always a reflection of my inner world and how I was truly feeling. So, tell me this. If you can be the motherfucker who has it all, and you can show up day in and day out from the present moment and be the motherfucker who has it, it is only a matter of time before the universe, before your inner world goes, yeah, dude, you're doing it, dude. Yeah, let's give you more of that. Let's give you more money. Let's give you more success. Oh, that person you always wanted? You already feel whole. Here she is. Here they are. And then I think that's a big thing. I think that's like the hero's journey. You finally, it's kind of funny, and I'm lucky I realized this early on. But you at the beginning you have this idea of where you want to be, and then one day you finally get there, and it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change. You think you're gonna sit there and have that moment where you're like, oh, I did it. But and then the truth is, if you're doing it the right way, what I think happens is you finally get there and you realize, I didn't even need that thing, dude, because it wasn't getting there. It was becoming the person that I had to become to get that thing. It's about the journey, not the destination. And I don't think you can understand this thing, but you don't really feel it until you're finally there. And when you're finally there and you feel it, it's like a comically beautiful, amazing thing, because you realize you're already whole. You realize you already had everything you could ever need. And then from there, once you realize that, you can create even more amazing things in your life, because you're creating even more from a place of wholeness, of a place of knowing, of a place of actually knowing that these things are possible, right? Okay, cool. You know, we're 17 minutes into this, so fucking on my camera thing. So I think that's really good. I think that was like a huge thing for me, was literally just changing my identity. And not even change, like literally becoming the motherfucker before I even had it. And when I started doing that, the things they came out of nowhere, dude. It's like videos blew up out of nowhere on social media. I made just a bunch of money in one day out of nowhere. It comes out of nowhere. And then again, you realize it's not about the journey. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey, and it's about becoming the motherfucker that you have to become to get that thing, right? Okay, cool. How about that for some fucking games? So now that you have your goal, now that you understand the core fundamentals of this, of how this whole manifestation thing actually works, I think another big thing, and we're gonna go number 2 on my list real quick. I'm gonna try to make this a little bit quicker. Because again, guys, this is really simple stuff. It's actually just going out there and doing the work and being that motherfucker, right? Because again, guys, this is just a big fucking game. That's all this is. It's just a big fucking game. And all the rules of everything in your life that you have agreed to up until this point was made by man, right? Everything was made by man. And when you realize that, you can understand and realize that you can create your own life. You can be the decider of how things unfold in your life, right? And you can have much more fun. And you can do what you want. Really powerful stuff, right? So number 2 thing that I'm going to talk about today is testing. Okay? So I think this is more kind of, I mean, I guess it can really be applied to anything, but this helped me a lot in my business and entrepreneurship, is actually testing and seeing what you do really want out of life. Because for me, it was always kind of the goal of making money, and the means to making money was something along with like business, and I realized that. And over the last 3 or 4 years, dude, I'll tell you, I had probably like 6 or 7, 8 different like failed businesses and side hustles that I had to go through to finally get to where I'm at now, where I had this business. I sell t-shirts online, and that's my current business, and that's what really just kind of blew up out of nowhere, and it's doing good. And I'm so grateful for that. And then also like making YouTube videos too. I fucking love this shit. It gets me fired up. It gets me going. Brings you into that beautiful flow state. But it took me a long time of testing to figure out exactly what I wanted and exactly what I was meant to be doing, right? And I think that's a really important thing. And I know for me, I would like get into this thing where I'd feel like I have to do this one thing for a really long time. And if it doesn't work out, nothing's gonna work out. But it's like, dude, what an amazing thing it is to be able to sit there and fail and start again. But what an amazing thing it is to sit there and realize that every single second of every single day, you get to wake up and make a new life. You get to wake up and decide whoever the fuck you want to be and whatever the fuck you want to do and how you're going to make that money and how you're going to do that thing. So I think in terms of like whatever you want to bring into reality, I think it's important to test different ways of how that thing is going to come up. And than actually doing the work in testing, right? Because I think there's this thing with manifestation where people say you can just sit there and do nothing and everything will come to you. And I think that's true. I totally believe that's true. And a lot of things did just come to me randomly. But a lot of them came to me because I was taking aligned action with that goal, right? So I was getting a little bit closer. I was reading books about business. I was watching YouTube videos on different businesses, different side hustles, different things, and I was testing different things. And throughout that, that's when the magic really happened. You know, different things came out of nowhere. I'll tell you the business that I'm doing right now, and literally there's nothing on the internet about this, dude. The way that I came across this was just like, literally, dude, I'd have to like go through a maze blindfolded and then finally somehow get to the end to figure out what this current business is and what I'm doing. It was just so by chance that it worked out, and every aspect of it, from like the t-shirts that I do make, the videos that I do make, every single piece of it was just chance. And looking back, it really does feel like God, the universe, was on my side, just giving me a couple nudges here and there in the right direction. But dude, I'll tell you, it took me 6, 7, 8 different businesses to finally get to the point where I'm at now. But I'll tell you, the first thing that we talked about in this video, your identity and becoming that motherfucker will collapse those timelines and get you so much closer to that thing through that testing, right? And going out there and actually trying different things. Because again, I do believe it can come to you, but for me, I started to go a little bit crazy when I sat there and just tried to wait for everything to, I didn't want to just sit there in my chair all day not doing anything. Like, I have to do something. That's just my personality. That's who I am. And I feel like a lot of people are like that. So whatever it might be for you, it doesn't obviously have to be business. It's not for everybody. But if it's like a relationship, a certain thing, a certain house, dude, like, test different ways. And you don't need to get all analytical about it, and have fun with it, dude. That's like another huge thing. I have so much fun with this stuff. I sit there and try to bring myself back to like a childlike version of myself where I don't care about anything. I don't care about what people think. I don't care about expectations. And I just sit there and do what I want to do from a place of fun, because I think that's what it is. That's another thing. When you can have fun, dude, the world is going to support you even more, because this is all supposed to be just a fun fucking game, right? Ooh, yo, we're dropping some fucking game right here, dude. Whoever's watching this video still, dude, it's a long one, man. I'll tell you, if you're the person who sits there and watches these videos, dude, it's gonna happen, dude. You're gonna get that thing. You're gonna have that success, and that's all it is. It's just sitting there getting rid of that fucking monkey brain, which I need to make a whole nother video on like the monkey brain and getting rid of your bad habits, because that's like another huge thing. Or there's gonna be another video for another time. I could go on for like another hour. But really, dude, to the motherfucker who's still watching this video right now, if anybody is, know that you're going to get there, and, keep fucking going. The last thing, real quick, so identity, who are you going to be, becoming that motherfucker, testing different ways to do it. I think this is important. And then letting the magic unfold through that testing. And then again, with testing is actually doing the work to put yourself a little bit closer to where you want to be. I feel like I don't even need to explain this one, dude. It's showing up. It's reading that book. It's watching that YouTube video. It's choosing to not react to things, or react to things from a place of being that motherfucker, and staying present, learning more, becoming a better person. All of this is doing the work, dude. It doesn't feel like it. None of this feels like work, dude. I haven't, for me, I'll tell you, I haven't worked in like over a year now, it feels like. Feels like I don't even do anything anymore, dude, because I love what I'm doing. This is all just a fun game, right? But again, I'll say it for the sake of it. It is doing the work, right? Because, for somebody out there, what I'm doing is work. It depends on how you look at it. But it's action. I'll say it's like actually doing the action, not the work. Because it's just, these are all just words. But actually taking action towards these things. Because again, again, like I said, you can sit there and you can wait for that thing to come to you. Or you can sit there and have some fun with it. You can make that YouTube video. You can start that business. You can watch a video on what businesses to start. You can read some books about business. You can read some books about spirituality. You can go out if you want to find a fucking significant other. You can go out. You can start going out to different places where you like to go, to the beach, and you can start talking to people, right? Taking action. Doing the things that are going to get you closer. And then watching the magic unfold. Watching the magic unfold as you're doing the action, as you're having the identity of the motherfucker who has it all, actually testing, and then doing the action while you're testing, and then seeing what happens, and watching the magic unfold, because that's what's going to happen. Because this is real stuff. This is magical stuff. This is how the world works. It's all just a fun game. Okay? So how about fucking that, dude? Right? So that's a 25-minute mark. I feel like this is a good, I feel fucking good, dude. I love doing this. I'll tell you, fun little story, dude. Yesterday, And again, dude, you're gonna have bad days, right? That's only natural. Don't try to fight it. Let it flow. You know, go with the flow, as they say. Yesterday, I fucking tried to record a video like 30 times in a row, and I couldn't get a word out. I just couldn't speak, so I was like, okay, I'm putting the camera away. I'm gonna stop trying to fight what I can't be doing right now, and I'm just gonna relax for the day. And I made some good progress on my business, and now here I am, bro. I had a good video. I made some good videos this morning for my business. Now I'm making this video. This is flow state. This is real shit. Once you get in there, dude, you're gonna get into the flow state. What an amazing, talk about a natural fucking high you can get, dude. When you can get there, when you're doing the things that you love, when you're doing your things that are actually aligned with your being, of who you're meant to be. Oh my god, it's like a fucking drug, dude. You know what I mean? And I feel like I sound like the fucking hippie right now, dude, being high on life or whatever. But this is real stuff, right? Yeah, how about that, dude? So get out there. And again, if anybody's still watching this, dude, just know you are going to get it. And yeah, dude, let me know what you think in the comment section. Again, if anybody does watch this. Besides that, have a good fucking day. Keep doing your best. Stay present. And keep getting better, dude. Because one day you are going to have it all. Boom. How about that?